Welcome to Films and Stuff with your hosts, Pete Mitchell and Ethan Hunt.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Films and Stuff. I'm Ethan, joined, as always, most valuable Pete. Hey, Pete, what's up?
Not much, buddy. How are you?
I am great. It is Saturday. As you know, Saturdays mean one thing and one thing only, even though it's autumn time, stream or skip episode. You know the drill. New listeners may not know the drill, and that's why in 15 seconds or less, can you please summarize what is stream or skip?
Absolutely. So Ethan and I have prepared lists of TV shows for each other to watch. Every week, we randomly assign each other one of those shows. We watch at least 2 episodes if it's a series or 30 minutes if it's a feature-length program. And on that basis, we determine if it's a stream or skip.
Hence the name of this segment being stream or skip. We are well past the halfway point of 2025. This week, I had something called the Thursday Murder Club. Sounds very harrowing.
Yeah.
Ominous. Yeah. And I had very, very high hopes for it for a few reasons.
Yeah.
One, directed by Chris Columbus. So apart from the fact that Chris Columbus was attached to it, the cast is like bonkers. From a British perspective, we should say. Helen Mirren, Pierce Brosnan, Ben Kingsley. I mean, it is a all-star cast, although a little bit long in the tooth, we must say. So I had a pretty good feeling about this, and I guess I should clarify. It is a movie on Netflix. It is not a series. Spoiler alert. Wah, wah. I have to give this a skip. Let me give you a little bit about the plot and the breakdown of why. Thursday Murder Club is a unofficial club that these 3, soon to be 4 main characters have when they're in, let's call it a nursing home. Each of the 3 are single-ish, and for reasons that are explained later on in the movie, they have come together and they, as kind of hobbyists or enthusiasts, they like to kind of solve unsolved mysteries, always revolving around murder. I mean, we've kind of seen this before where there's kind of an enthusiast case. Remember the Yellow Jackets, one of the main characters was kind of like this amateur sleuth, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's very similar to what this is. They call themselves the TMC, the Thursday Murder Club. They meet in the quote unquote game room of this retirement village on Thursdays. And you know what they do? They put with all these little thumbtacks, the pieces of evidence on a board, and they draw or they put pieces of string between them and they try to solve these things. It's intended to be cute and endearing, and it's just okay. So they are trying to solve a historical murder, and they bring in one more member of the group, Celia Imrie. So these 4 now make up the Thursday Murder Club. And over the course of what they're doing as a hobby, it turns out that their retirement village is going to be sold and razed. The owner / developer is going to make it into, the drill, condos,
apartment complex. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Higher shopping center, right? We've seen this from the Brady Bunch on downwards over the years, right? The big evil developer wanting to do something more profitable with his or her land. There are actually 2 owners of the company or the developer that owns this retirement village. And of course, one of them is mysteriously murdered. So the Thursday Murder Club springs into action, and they're going to solve what has happened in this murder, because the murder of the one owner who was, let's say, supportive of keeping the retirement village has aroused a lot of suspicion. And the initial suspicion has fallen on the second owner, of course. And not to give away the entire ending, there's a lot of twists and turns, and the Thursday Murder Club solves a mystery. They keep their retirement village, and everyone is happy ever after. It is a absolutely cute, endearing, fine effort on Netflix. Knowing that Chris Columbus had his heyday in kind of the 90s and the aughts, it makes sense that he gravitates towards the Mirren Brosnans, Ben Kingsley's, something positive and something negative. Positive, the characters are actually pretty okay. A lot of times you see very stereotypical characters in a movie like this. I think it's very admirable and refreshing that they have not fallen into these stereotypes. The flip side is that none of the characters really have anything that's like their calling card. There's not a lot of quirkiness. There's not a lot of entertainment value. There's not a lot of humor. They're just very down the middle, trying to cooperate with each other and solve a mystery. The mystery itself, I have to say, and the whodunit is reasonably complex, which is not always easy to thread that needle. Either it's very, very obvious, or it's so obscure that there was this hidden evidence that just comes to light at the end of the movie that you
Right.
never could have seen coming. I have to say this was pretty decent, where they focused on a number of different candidates, tracked them down, and then, either came to dead ends or led to something else. The story, the plot, it's absolutely fine. And that's where my kind of criticism comes in, which is this is just fine. Maybe because this is on Netflix with this cast, this is meant more for my mom. There's no sex, there's no violence, there's no vulgarity, there's no drug use, there's no nudity or anything objectionable. This is for my mom. I have to say, if they would have wrapped it around a holiday like Christmas, it would have been a very, very good Christmas movie. The fact that it's just kind of taking place in like the spring, it's just largely meh. That's my criticism. It's definitely not a bad piece of entertainment. It's just very meh, where I'm not laughing. It's not a real thriller. It's just for octogenarians kind of interacting in moderately goofy ways to try to solve a mystery. I gave it a skip. Cannot recommend you, my brother, anyone to spend, an hour and 55 minutes watching this for, to be honest, very little payoff. There's nothing that's going to blow your mind, nothing really innovative, nothing that's going to make you, fall out of your seat laughing. It's an absolutely watchable Netflix movie that you will immediately forget and not be honestly any better off at the end. So that is the Thursday Murder Club on Netflix, given a skip by me.
Okay. I mean, I had hopes for it, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I understand your reasoning. I think it's something that I've already recommended to my mom because I think she would love it.
Yes. That's a very good recommendation. And I would do the same. All right, Pete, what do you got on your list today?
All right. I had a show on Amazon Prime
Yep.
called Countdown. Countdown, similar to Butterfly, similar to Citadel. This is a high octane action drama. So whereas Butterfly and Citadel were a little bit more cerebral, a little bit more espionage focused,
Yeah.
this is more, I would say, action oriented. If this were on TBS or NBC or Sky One or TV Tiga, any kind of standard television channel, I would instantly believe it. It feels a lot like 24. It's about a task force that's been set up to find the killer of a Homeland Security agent. And there's a lot of drama about why that agent was killed and how he was killed. It's a little Suicide Squadish in the sense that the task force was set up with the rejects of different departments. So, like, the main character is Jensen Ackles. So he was most famously known as one of the brothers in Supernatural, but most recently from The Boys as Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
And he's like this rejected LAPD guy who was undercover. Then you have someone from the FBI, you have someone from the NSA, like all these different departments where they've kind of thrown together a bunch of these rejects. It looks like your typical high octane thriller, There's a lot of action sequences. There's a lot of like, I'm a tough guy. And there's a lot of tight situations they need to get out of, including like smuggling across the Mexico-US border. And then, of course, it leads to the main crux of the situation, which is there appears to be a nuclear bomb loose in Los Angeles.
Ooh, stakes are high.
Stakes are incredibly high, but it's like a cheesy steak. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a bit cheesy like that. So think of
Yeah.
this a little bit like 24 and Suits for cops,
Oh, okay.
right? Everyone is fast talking, action where it's required. It's very
Yeah.
sexy, it's very
Right.
glamorous, but
Yeah.
like it's in no way, shape, or form a realistic depiction, right? Like we
Yeah.
always laughed about in Suits how one guy in a beautiful suit would rock up in the office and pull out one sheet of paper from inside
Yeah.
his coat pocket that would decimate the entire case.
Yeah. On a full night's sleep, dressed to the nines, fresh haircut, like
Like no
checkmate.
lawyer would ever find that plausible,
Checkmate.
right? Like no
Right.
one who's ever been a part of the law
Yeah.
industry or even corporate finance would find that to be
Yeah.
believable. Wow, being a lawyer is so
Yeah.
glamorous. It's so sexy. I want to do that. Like,
Yeah.
this is a strong mooch, but it's definitely not a must subscribe. It's a commendable show for Amazon because these are the kinds of things that are like they've built up the backbone of Netflix's platform. The more content like this that they have, it's the more likely that you'd want to subscribe to a platform like Amazon Prime overall. It's the same reason why a lot of people subscribe once to Netflix and then don't let subscriptions lapse.
Right.
Because they're just
Yeah.
like, okay, even though Countdown isn't a show I want to watch, since I already have the subscription, I don't mind watching it.
Yeah. You've really identified something that I hadn't really verbalized until you highlighted it, which is Amazon's starting to find their footing a little bit, where it used to be the big licensed intellectual property, and now it's kind of the group of spies or espionage or rogue agents, or right, they're turning into like a mini FX, for
Exactly.
example, right? Whereas Netflix is more big stars, buzzy family shows or documentaries.
Yeah, and again, this is precisely what they need. Build up their catalog with these kinds of shows.
Hmm.
And then if you want to do, your Lord of the Rings kind of
Right.
caps, go ahead and do that. But like no one is subscribing to Amazon for Lord of the Rings, and no one is keeping their subscription for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
But if you've already subscribed to Amazon Prime, you're certainly not disconnecting your subscription because of Countdown.
Yep. You're right.
At worst, you're extending it.
Hmm. Any news on whether or not it is going to be renewed for a second season?
Too soon to tell. I think they've only got 10 or 12 episodes out so far.
Oh, it's not even the final yet.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, this is a strong mooch.
Okay. Countdown, Amazon Prime. Shifting to next week, I seem to have something that's probably going to be a little bit similar to Countdown, but I will be on Netflix and I have Self-Assigned Hostage, which is getting a lot of publicity on Netflix. It's
Yeah.
pushed on me quite a bit. You are coincidentally staying on Amazon Prime, but what do you have?
I have a show called The Runarounds.
All right. Well, there we are. Pete, before we sign up for this week's episode of Streamer Skip, can you please remind everyone of our social media creds?
Absolutely. You can leave a comment below, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when the next episode of the Films and Stuff podcast drops.
And the other thing we have to do next week, in addition to reviewing these, is we have to go through our summer predictees, right?
That's right. That's going to be our next episode.
I mean, beginning of September, American football has started. Summer has officially ended, as has the window for our summer box office predictees. So we are going to tally up the box office revenues, right? And
That's
see
right.
where you or I came out.
That's
Should be a
right.
close race this year.
Looks like
Okay.
it.
Folks, thank you for joining Streamer Skip this week. We will see you next week. next episode of the Films and Stuff podcast. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Ethan. Thanks, everyone.
Bye now.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Films and Stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are downloaded. Films and Stuff. There is no substitute.